I'm the possessed little toaster, but you can call me Toast. Today, we're diving into the world of indie games, specifically 789, a quirky little horror game with a brilliant concept, but some seriously frustrating mechanics. So let's talk about what happens when creativity meets clunky controls, and whether it's fair to critique a game you struggled to even play. But before we get too far, if you like this kind of stuff, drop a like and consider subscribing. I really appreciate it, and it helps us make more content just like this. Let's get into it. Indie games and the developers behind them are often celebrated for their creativity and passion. With fewer resources than major studios, these games sometimes trade polish for innovation, which can lead to both brilliance and frustration. But what happens when that trade-off makes the game nearly unplayable? That's the question I wrestled with after playing 789. 789 is an indie horror game by developer James Olks. Its premise is brilliantly absurd. The game is based on the classic joke, why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. You play as detective number 9, tasked with investigating a series of gruesome murders by cannibalistic number 7. It's a mix of dark humor and horror that immediately grabbed my attention. The art style is quirky, and the premise is undeniably unique. But does the gameplay live up to the concept? We have to remember that mechanics are the skeleton of any game. They hold up the experience and allow players to engage with the developer's vision. When those mechanics falter, whether through poor controls, unclear designs, or bugs, the game's foundation crumbles. And unfortunately for me, 789 crumbled hard. If you want to see how my playthrough went, I'll put a link in the description, but here's a sneak peek.
How do you just f***ing pick up an item? I wish there was a murder button.
I didn't even get a chance!
Let's try this one more time wildly. Let's just run in there. Why is it shooting a gun? Why? I can't pick up anything now. This game is 789. It was $2.77. I had $3 in my wallet. Here we are. That was ridiculous, and I love it. Shut up, chat. You're not even my real chat. You're adopted. We need more seagulls. Ooh, another battery? A body? A seagull? This game is only here to serve our need for seagulls. Possessed little seagull. Nice, I like it. Seagull toast crunch. It's crispity, it's crunchity, it's gonna steal your sandwich.
As much fun as I had playing the game, the controls and mechanics actively pushed me away from playing it further. But then I had to ask myself, was I being fair? Every game has a learning curve, and maybe my frustration stemmed from the lack of patience rather than the game's design. How do I balance my desire to be fair and thorough in my analysis with the reality that some games make that process nearly impossible? 789 forced me to confront a hard question. How much effort should a player have to expend to enjoy a game? Fun and challenge aren't mutually exclusive, but you have to be able to access the fun. If unintentional barriers like clunky mechanics block that access, is it fair to place the blame solely on the player for walking away? Or does responsibility lie with the developer to make sure those barriers don't exist in the first place? This is where I have to remind myself. This game was created by a tiny developer, likely with a fraction of the resources available in bigger studios. Bugs and missteps are almost inevitable in indie development. Hell, even major studios release half-finished games all the time. So is it fair to walk away, or is it more constructive to offer feedback? This is the delicate balance that makes the indie scene so exciting and frustrating. Thoughtful, respectful criticism can help developers grow, but how often do average gamers leave detailed notes? And let's be honest, not every dev wants a flood of internet trolls dissecting their latest passion project. This experience taught me a few things. First, while I'll always strive for fairness, playability is non-negotiable. No matter how creative or intriguing a game is, it needs to meet players halfway. But as players, we also have a role to engage constructively and offer feedback when we can. At the end of the day, games are a dialogue between players and developers. When mechanics fail, that dialogue breaks down. And when it does, is it unfair to walk away? Or is it simply the natural end of a conversation that couldn't find common ground? For me, 789 was a game that, despite its problems, left me excited to play it.
I'm unnaturally excited for this game, and to be quite honest with you, I don't know why.
The concept and art pulled me in, but the mechanics pushed me away. That said, for less than $3, it gave me plenty to think about. Now I want to hear from you. Where do you draw the line between perseverance and saying, this just isn't working? Leave a comment down below. You can find me on most platforms at Possessed Little Toaster. Thank you so much for watching.
You can be dumb or you can be right.